Hello.
Hello.
The sisters.
Sisters.
So we have
Hannah.
Anne, Rachel.
I thought you wanted me to say your name then. I was like,
Well, you could have, but
Rachel.
you said your own name, so it's fine. I expected you to say your name because that's who you are. So today we're going to be talking about communication and learning styles.
As we eat chocolate.
As we eat chocolate. So, we had a post, like a comment on the TikTok about communication, and somebody said, what's the difference between Makaton and British Sign Language? I get asked this quite a lot, actually. And the key difference, really, is that with Makaton, you speak. So with British Sign Language, you don't have to speak, you can just sign. And also with Makaton, you can use symbols as well. Mm-hmm. But I find with symbols, unless you're essentially in the house and you've got everything like to hand, it's not easy to use it when you're out and about. Unless, of course, you've got all of that squared away.
Let me just get my scrapbook.
Yeah. Of many signs and symbols, yeah.
You can imagine.
Literally, when I was being taught it and they were saying, oh, you know, if you can, make sure you've got symbols handy. And I'm thinking, for every situation and scenario.
I mean, like, for all those Friends fans out there, like, that's a Monica thing that she would do, you know? Like, she would have a file of facts. Do you watch? You don't know.
I do watch Friends, but...
Yeah. So she's like the most organised person in the world, and when her and Chandler get married, she has like this massive file. You can just imagine her. That would be her.
Yeah, and I'm not that organised. No.
I mean, I'm pretty organised, but not like her.
No, I think she takes it to a whole other level, really, doesn't she?
She does.
You know? So I think it would be quite handy if I taught you a bit of Makaton, Mac.
Oh no.
Whatever you want me to call you. So I'm going to teach you how to say my name is.
What your name is or my name is?
What your name is, but I'm going to show you by showing you how I sign how my name is. And then,
I knew what you meant. I was just joking.
I have not had enough caffeine for this today.
Oh, I feel a bit funny-handed. Do you like our matching mugs?
Yeah, hang on. We didn't plan that, by the way. That naturally happened. It was like,
no, that was good.
How much I missed you.
You're really good at this.
Do you not know the song?
Not that much. But like, you did this on the last one.
I know.
The Pop Idol thing. Like, you just come out with these things.
I don't know what it is. I remember things that are completely useless. No, it's true. Like theme songs. Oh, Disney songs. I know them all. Do you know what I mean? Hashtag, go just join right in.
I could do it at Disney, yeah.
Oh, my word. I listened to the song in work today, and it was like a very much hashtag take me back moment.
Okay.
And somebody in the office was like, oh, were you a major fan or something? Do you know what I mean? Of this,
what?
Like
a
mega fan, whatever, of this band. And I was like, no, it was a really catchy song at the time. And I remember it. Ready? You ready for this? Cause I've been to the year 3000.
Oh, yeah.
Not much has changed, but we live underwater. And your great-great-great-granddaughter is pretty fine.
I went to the year 3000. This song had gone multi-platinum.
Yeah.
Everybody bought our 7th album. It had also Michael Jackson. I absolutely love Busted.
As you can tell, she was the mega fan. I wasn't the mega fan, but as soon as it came on, I just started joining in with it. I knew exactly what the words were, and person was like, so you're a mega fan?
If Busted ever watched this, I love you. No, I'm joking. I don't love them that much. Well, I did, but not now. Okay. I'm grown old.
I think we should move on very, very swiftly.
Like, cringe moment.
Just a bit. Right, Makaton. So I'm going to teach you a bit. So,
yeah.
so you need 3 fingers like this, tap,
right,
for my, and then 2 where your eyebrow is, and then out, name, and then is, you just go, is. I know, it's really funny, is. And then you get your hand, and then with your signing hand you put, well for me, you put the letter R,
right.
Rachel. Okay, so for Hannah, you do my. Come on, my. No. like that.
Thank you, mummy.
Like ma, yeah.
Ma.
So tap your chest. That's That's what you do. You tap your chest once. Go on, mine. And then 2 fingers at the eyebrow and out. Name.
Name.
Is.
Oh, is.
Is. And then Hannah. So, like that.
Excuse me. Hannah.
Excellent. Fantastic.
Do I get a gold star?
What?
Do I?
I didn't argue what she just said. What?
Do I get a gold star?
I thought she said, do I get coleslaw? No.
Quite like coleslaw.
Do you get a gold star? I don't know. We'll see how you catch on. So
Okay.
So I use it to communicate with my little boy. He's non-verbal, so he doesn't speak. So that's why I learned Makaton, really, was to improve my communication skills so that I could help him and find a way to communicate with people, because I've worked with teenagers that remain non-verbal and they don't have another way of communicating, another language.
Yeah.
So the Makaton, at least it's something he could use and express himself. So I tend to use it for things I know he's going to look at me for, because he loves food. Things like that.
Food.
Yeah, food. So this is Biscuit, the weirdest signing ever. Biscuit. I kid you not.
Elbow.
That's Cake.
See, that's more reasonable.
Yeah, that is more reasonable.
Right.
Water. He drinks a lot of water, so I'll say water.
Okay, that makes sense.
Juice. So fruit is, fruit, and that's juice.
Oh, fruit juice.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be Gandalf.
What? Don't get the reference, sorry.
Lord of the Rings, Gandalf.
I know who Gandalf is, but it's like Gandalf.
Because he got a big long beard, is what I was thinking.
Yeah, but his beard doesn't like go all the way up here, do you mean?
It does.
No, it's just like,
Anyway.
like really long. It's like,
Sorry.
I don't know why I imagined a sound effect to Gandalf's beard, but it just it doesn't go. It just goes.
Maybe it goes. You shall not.
Oh, do you know what? I absolutely love, and this is how sad I am, but Lego Lord of the Rings, right? There's this bit where you have to go find certain objects, and they find an object called a disco file. And they do like a disco-y mix-up of the songs.
No.
So it goes like this. It's like,
Oh, here we go.
break the dam, release the river. You shall not pause. And it does a proper, and it's like, ding, 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 ding. Honestly, there is actually, I'm not embarrassed about this. There's a video of me on Facebook doing a dance to it. I kid you not. There's a video of me doing a dance to this song.
Tag there, right there.
I will. I just thought it was the best thing ever.
That's amazing.
I don't even know how we got, right, how do we get onto this
Because
subject?
of fruit juice.
Oh, okay.
wanted to
So
do that.
if you want to do, yeah, well done. If you want to do man, that's man actually. Man. Oh, no, we're talking about beards, man. I've lost her. So obviously Lucas isn't gonna need to say man. But like food, so I'll say pizza because he loves his pizza, and apple. So I'm teaching him lots of Makaton tonight. I've lost her, so I'm just carrying on as if I haven't, and then she'll come back. It's great.
Crying.
I don't know why she's crying. She's still on Gan. She's still thinking about Gan. I'm just still thinking about Gandalf.
No, because when but man, it's this, and I just thought Gandalf.
Yes.
So I'm so sorry.
Okay, so yeah, Gandalf. Okay, so moving on from Gandalf. Okay, so
give me strength.
yes, so Makaton. So that's a form of communication. Moving on to like communication in general. It's not just about speaking, and it's not just about listening. It's about body language. So don't know if many of you know this, but 70% of the way we communicate, how we feel, what we think, how we feel, is in body language. So it's in your facial expressions, your tone of voice, and the way you hold your body, and actually that tells us a lot. So you can say, yeah, everything's great, but actually
Great.
but actually your voice and your body could be saying a completely different thing.
Maybe they're not so great.
Oh my gosh.
But yes, you are right. Okay. I'm so sorry, that just really made me laugh. Anyway, come on.
Yes.
But yeah, you are right.
Everything is great.
This is like a prime example.
It's really good. I'm really calm and chill right now. No, I am, and it is good. So, my point being, because I've got to try and remember what my point was.
You're saying that you can present yourself.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't realise, I think, sometimes how much we communicate through our body language.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard for people on the spectrum because they might not have that same social understanding with body language. So what I might get from somebody, they might understand, like, for example, personal boundaries and space. You know, you can see when somebody needs a minute and they need some space.
Yeah.
But actually, somebody on the spectrum could be like, oh, I'm really excited to tell Jane or John or whoever about this new Lego set I've got. I'm just throwing it out there because Lego's really popular. And they're just like, they're in their space and they're talking and they just talk, and then this person, you can just see them, you know, the body language is like, I want to be left alone.
Yeah.
But they're not reading that and not getting that message, and that can be quite difficult.
And I suppose it's the social cue thing then, isn't it? Like, that exactly that, I suppose, and not understanding, or this is not an appropriate time to kind of have that conversation, I suppose, as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose that can be really difficult, because for people like that, when, like you said, when you're excited, it's just like, oh, I want to tell the world, you know, but sometimes the world isn't ready for that information, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I tell you, the other one is that sometimes we know that a lot of people, autistic people, children, can be very outspoken, can't they? So if they don't like something, they'll tell you, you know.
Oh yeah, and it's blatant honesty, which I love. I think it's great. They don't have that worry of saying what they want to say; they just say it. Which is fabulous. And a prime example, I've got some funny anecdotes from Elena. She's the best. So I'll never forget the first time taking Elena to the dentist. And I was really nervous because I just did not know how she was going to react to it. Because her anxiety can get quite high around medical appointments and things like that. So I take her to the dentist and I pre-warned them and said, you know, she's autistic, etc. So she walks in and I'm like, right, come on, let's sit on the chair. And she likes me to be sat on my lap and things like that. And I was like, no, I can't. You just got to sit on the chair. But I was like, but I'm right here and everything's fine. So anyway, the assistant's kind of getting her all set up. And then the dentist turns around and she goes, like this, like literally.
Who does? Elena?
Elena's like that. Like, you know when you're trying not to laugh, but like a little squeak.
I know that feeling too well.
Yeah, you do. so that's what she did. And I was just like looking at him like, okay. And he goes, you all right? And she goes, I don't need glasses. And he's like,
Okay.
And she's like, because I'm not blind. Right? Oh my word. So the assistant was rolling, like she trying really hard not to laugh.
Funny.
Well, obviously the dentist had glasses, right? So that's what she was talking about. She saw him, like he turned to look at her, she saw his glasses, and that was the first thing she thought.
That is funny.
So funny.
That is really funny. I like that one.
Oh, and the best is when we're playing Mario Kart and we're playing, and she like throws a banana at you, or she throws like those disc things, and she goes, "That was me." Yeah, that was me. Like she just announces every time she hits you, and
like she's so proud.
We know, Elena.
We would like to win.
It's like when I'm playing, and I'm playing with my mum, and she's like, "Did you just throw that banana at me? Did you just?" And I'm like, like this.
The bananas are chasing me.
Oh my word, that's the best. So, right, this is the hashtag hilarious. We're playing Mario Kart. And my mum gets a power up. Well, our mum, she gets a power up, and it's like got the 3 bananas, and obviously it spins around as like a little protection shield. And so she's going, the bananas are chasing me. I'm thinking, what on earth is she on about? And of course, she's on about the 3 bananas that are spinning, that are her power up that she can use.
So
It's like, bananas are chasing me. Like, oh, that's brilliant.
That is so funny.
So funny.
Oh, dear.
So I think that is definitely being outspoken and just saying things as they are.
Yeah.
Definitely a trait.
Yeah, and And it's funny, isn't it? Because people are so quick to get offended as well, aren't they? Like, I'm a very laid back character, as most people can probably tell. And like, I just kind of, like, we was having this conversation, weren't we, about how whether we show emotions easily, I think is what the conversation we had. Anybody who knows me, I'm not emotional at all. I don't cry, like, only when I'm like laughing hysterically, like just now.
Just going, yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think I'm pretty. I don't really get upset or emotional enough to have to hide my emotions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm kind of like, I'm a very much person who would kind of be like, I just haven't got time to build a fence. You know, like I just kind of like, soz not soz. Like, if you don't like it, that's your problem, kind of thing.
See, I wish I was more like that, to be honest. I think it's just part of who I am. I'm very in tune with other people.
Yeah.
And I can sense when something's off. I can sense when maybe my gut, they talk about your gut. Oh, and that makes me laugh, is Bones. If anyone watches Bones, you haven't watched Bones. She has to watch Bones. Okay, so Bones is like a forensic anthropologist. To be honest, she's either gifted or she's on the spectrum. She does not, but genuinely, she does not understand social cues. Like, she's very like cutting
with you,
right? And then Booth, who's like the detective dude, he's like very much in tune with people and their emotions, and he talks about the gut. So like he'll feel it in his gut when somebody has done the murder. Like he's like, yeah, it's that person. Like,
there's been a murder.
Yeah, he knows deep down. Yeah, it's you. And she'd be like, that makes no sense. Like, you cannot base anything on the gut. Do you mean it's evidence? But the gut always comes through. So for me, it's the gut. I get a sense, go, that's not right. Something's off there. So if somebody's upset and they don't come off as being themselves, I just pick up on it and I'm just like, they're not happy. There's something wrong. And the problem is I will worry about them then. Yeah. And think, what is it? What is it that's upset them? And with the ADHD, because lots of people with ADHD will say this, they'll straight away go, right, what did I do? What did I say? What did I say last time I spoke to them? They were fine with me last time, but maybe I said something and maybe I offended them and So it's very difficult because the brain just automatically goes there and you have to be like, no, come back, don't go there. But yeah, I think that's, for some reason, it's that intuition. Yeah. It's an innate ability. So communication is not just speaking and it's not just listening, it's reading people.
Yeah.
Reading their body language. And also knowing, like we said earlier, knowing when to give them space.
Yes.
Where somebody on the spectrum will maybe struggle with that. Know. Knowing, actually, I need to give them a minute. I need to give them some space.
And that's a difficult place to be in, isn't it? Because I suppose if, I'm pretty good, I'd be like, oh, look, I just need 5 minutes. Like, can I have 5? But to say that to somebody who doesn't understand social cues and wherever, they could be like, but why? And they're not going to understand the fact that I just know?
And I think it's that social imagination, being able to understand from somebody else's point of view what they need. Yeah. It's very difficult. They can only see their own kind of situation, which is very hard. And I think the other key thing to think about with communication as well is our perception of people on the spectrum, especially if they're non-verbal and they can't verbally express what they want or what they need. And a prime example is this guy who wrote The Reason I Jump.
Yes.
And how he wrote about his experiences. And when he was younger, he was non-verbal, and he could hear people talking, and they were saying things like, "Oh yeah, he's not bothered about making friends. Like, he's fine," and he would just be left. And inside, he was like, "I really want to make some friends. I want to talk to people, but I can't talk because he couldn't speak. But he wanted to be included. He wanted that interaction, but he couldn't express it. And they just assumed, oh well, he's not interested."
That's really sad, isn't it?
And I've had that where I've like supported people on the spectrum in the past who are teenagers and they're non-verbal, and like in this one teenage plan it said does not like one-to-one interaction and stuff like, oh no, he won't interact with you, he'll get annoyed, blah 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 blah, and all this. I was like, okay, I just ignored them. So we had this like multicoloured parachute thing. So I was like lifting up, woo, like this, and hiding and peeking and he loved it. He was laughing and was like trying to get me to do it again and
That's
again.
amazing.
And they were like, oh. I was like, well, yeah. Like, just because something used to be a certain way doesn't mean it stays that way forever. Things change. And actually, if you don't try, you'll never know.
And do you think that's an issue is where people just don't want to make the effort, can't be bothered?
I just think we all see things differently, and I think some people are just set in a certain way of thinking, and they think, you know, I think it comes down to a limited understanding.
That's probably the best way to
Like,
put it.
yeah, it is, because I'm still learning. I'm always learning about autism. And another thing to think about as well is masking. Like, girls on the spectrum are really good at masking. So actually, like Elena, I was told she was an expert at it when she got diagnosed. So she can present as very socially adept, but actually she like uses like certain sentences. So she'll use the same technique and the same conversation topic to feel comfortable in that situation.
Wow.
So like when I took her to get diagnosed and she was meeting one of the ladies for the first time, she was like, isn't this a big place? She was like, oh, I love the carpet. There's so many colours. And she was like, about this carpet. And I'm walking along the corridor with her going, oh, they're not going to pick up on it. They're not going to know. She's like really, giving a good gab here. Do you mean? So anyway, we're in the meeting and then this other professional walks in and the first thing Elena says is, oh, this place is so big and I love the carpet. So many lovely colours, to this other woman who just walked in. So she used the same social technique for the new person because she didn't know them.
That's so clever.
Very, very clever. Very clever. But actually, that was her way of coping with the situation.
Wow.
So I think it's to be mindful of actually what's going on underneath because they're using something they've learned as a technique to cope with something. But actually, how are they feeling in that moment?
That's really intelligent as well, isn't it? Because so many times people mistake children or adults, whoever, with autism as not being very intelligent, don't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, safe space, that's how people think and feel, isn't it? But when you consider that is really intelligent. Like, she's had to come up with that in her brain.
Yeah.
She's thought about that and prepared for that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and how old is she at the time? She's quite young at the time, isn't she?
Yeah, so she got diagnosed when she was 7.
Yeah.
So that was her way of responding, yeah.
That is clever.
Yeah.
You know, most 7-year-olds are not thinking like that, are they?
No,
You know?
that's true.
That's really clever.
And as well, like, going off on that about intelligence, there's a documentary, Chris Packham's Inside of Our Autistic Minds, and there's a lad on there who's non-verbal, and he's, I'd say, close to adulthood, but you can see he very much has a lot of support around his senses, so wears ear defenders, and he's able to, in his own way, communicate when he's had enough or the filming was too much and things like that. Well, anyway, he wrote this amazing piece of work, like talking about his thoughts and his feelings. And Chris Packham said to the woman who gave to him, I bet people didn't think he wrote this. And she was like, yeah, they didn't think he wrote that.
Wow.
So anyway, he was doing this documentary to empower people on the spectrum to be able to express what they think and feel. So they got him to choose his voice. So they like play different actors, whoever, their different voices, and then he picked the one he wanted.
So, that's
Right.
amazing.
And then he wrote what he wanted the actor to say, and then the actor read out what
That's
he'd written,
amazing.
and they like did little animations to go with it, and it was absolutely incredible. I highly recommend it. But he was saying things like when he was little, he really liked things like the Teletubbies. And then when he was like in primary school, he started to get interested in like fantasy and dragons, but people were still trying to give him the Teletubbies because they just assumed that's what he was interested in. They never tried to try anything else new. And he said he didn't like the fact that they assumed what his intelligence level was. And you could tell by what was written and what was said through this other person's voice that he had very high intelligence, extremely intelligent man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, it's amazing, really, because... Sorry, she needs a drink. I'll sort her out now. But, you know, like, we have this thing of we put people, again, like I was saying last week about being in a box.
Yeah.
We put people in a box.
Do you want to go and deal with that now? Yeah. So she's just going to get your daughter a drink a second while I carry on and entertain you. Let me entertain you. Do. Okay. So yeah, putting people in a box is very easy for us to do, isn't it? So I think we've covered communication quite well, really. So let's talk about learning, because I was having a conversation with people today. I did a sensory workshop, and it was all about how the senses impact us and how we all have sensory needs. So during this workshop, we were talking about education, and I think the education system is starting to improve. Things are starting to get better with understanding different learning needs. So we're talking about sensory rooms and how sensory rooms are starting to be put in schools, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I know particularly for both my children, they need a sensory room, they need a place to get away when they're feeling overwhelmed. So I think that's absolutely incredible. So in terms of learning, I think things do need to progress and develop in the education system to accommodate for learning difficulties and learning needs. So as an example, like in a learning environment, my son, he has like a specialised unit and there's only 5 or 6 kids in there. And during that time, he's on a different curriculum, like it's a specialised curriculum. There's like a sensory room in there, there's like sensory play. And the school have said to me, when he's in there, in that part of the school, in the morning, he's great. Like he's actually starting to be interested in the other children and be engaging. But unfortunately, they can only do it for the morning. So then once he gets into the afternoon class, it's like 20 odd kids, he's on his own agenda, he doesn't want to know, and he's like opening cupboards and turning taps on, he's just not bothered, he does not want to sit, he doesn't want to engage. So I think it's so important that we respect and understand that we need to accommodate people with those differences and those learning needs.
Yeah.
You can have a drink.
Sorry. Yeah. Do you find, obviously, like, there's a bit of an age gap between Elena and Lucas. Do you find that, especially in schools, now obviously Elena's in a specially designed school, isn't she?
Yeah, especially at autism school.
Yeah. But do you find before going to that school that there was not enough resources, like they needed more for her to meet her needs?
There was a lot of, you have to fight for what you need. It's not about fight for what you want, it's fight for what you need. So when she was in the mainstream school, I wanted to fight for a statement of need, and obviously that's not being used anymore. They've changed that. But mainly because I could tell that mainstream just wasn't suitable for her.
Yes.
There was a lot of meltdowns, a lot of tears. And in fact, I've got a story which shows like communication issues in itself. So one day, Elena asked one of the dinner ladies if she could help them clear away the tables. Because she's a helper, she likes to help, she likes to be involved. So she starts asking one of the dinner ladies, can I help clear the table? And dinner lady goes, no, just plain no. And that really, really upset Elena. Now I just think to myself, like, take a step back and think, yes, I understand it, she can't fold the tables away, that's a health and safety risk, whatever. But there was no explanation, it was just like, no, walked off. Oh, she saw red. She saw absolute red. She was so upset with the way she was spoken. Well, I don't blame her, to be honest. That she started banging on the door. I want my mummy! Screaming, I want my mummy. Trying to press the fire exit, because there's a fire exit button, right, that you press to open the door. It's like one of these green buttons. So anyway, she was really, really upset. The TA could not calm her down. She was just so distraught.
Yeah, I've seen her in that state, it's not good as well.
And I just think, what harm would it have done for that dinner lady to just stop and go, as much as I appreciate it, lovely, like, thank you for offering to help, you're such a lovely girl, I appreciate it, but we don't want you to hurt your hand, do you, while we fold the tables away and blah, blah, blah. Like, just take 5 minutes to have that conversation and be gentle with letting her down, not go, no, walk off, jeez.
That was very much mistrustful, like that.
Very much. I was like, no, it's not. That's not fair.
That's not good, is it?
So after that incident, they had to move the exit button. up. Look at this, trying to get
Fleeing child.
out. I know, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we had to fight to get a TA for her. And then, of course, because we got the TA, they were like, oh, well, you don't need a statement of need now, you've got a TA.
Oh.
It's like, wow, if I knew that was going to happen, I would have just stuck to getting a statement, do you know what I mean? So yeah, so she had one-to-one with school. And then obviously time was like approaching where she was going to transition to a secondary school. And they were like, oh yeah, you don't need the statement of need, blah, blah, blah. They're getting rid of them soon anyway.
That was a very big fight, wasn't it? I remember you going through that battle.
That was harder than getting the blinking diagnosis, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember that being really difficult.
So it was literally, I'm talking like just over the finish line of getting a statement just in time for her to get into a special school. And my goodness, you know, there's no way she would have coped in mainstream. No way.
I remember us having a conversation about it, wasn't it? I remember that conversation of saying like, you got to keep fighting and got to keep going, and you know, it's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mentioned earlier, while you were pottering around, the schools are getting better with providing sensory rooms. They are getting better with that. But I think it's very important to be clear on what the contract says and what they say they're providing and what they actually are providing. And because I've supported a family where the school like, yeah, your child can have one-to-one. And then actually when we looked into it, it was like a TA with 3 or 4 other children.
It's not
like,
the same.
No, that's not one-to-one. That is not actually one-to-one. So I said that, I advised her to meet with the school about that, because you can't be saying one thing and they're not providing it. Sorry, I had enough of having my hair in a ball.
Okay.
I think it was the Miss Trunchbull comment. It was like,
oh no, it didn't mean that! I meant the other person!
I was a bit like, do I look a bit...
No! You know when I put my hair in a messy bun, Destiny always tells me I look like Miss Trunchbull.
Gosh, she's so kind, isn't she?
Oh, she calls me ancient all the time. She's like,
Ancient?
Mum, yeah. She's like, Mum, what was it like in the olden days? Can I just advise you that I'm 32?
That's interesting communication skills right there, isn't it?
I'm like, excuse you a minute. Like, you know, anyway.
Yeah, so like learning difficulties and things, I think, like when I was trying to get a grasp really on what Elena's learning difficulties were, because nobody really had a conversation with me about it. They just said, she's got autism and learning difficulties. I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah,
what specifically can I do? Yeah. And what is it that she's struggling with? And then they ended up having a bit of a frank conversation with me.
Oh no.
You know, and like you don't expect a certain tone of conversation to happen.
Yes.
You know, you're driving along in your car and it's coming through on the Bluetooth and your child's in the back.
Oh no.
Oh yes, it was very much. I'm sat there thinking, oh Lord, I wish I'd known that it was going in this direction, because I wouldn't have allowed this conversation to continue. Because we're talking about, you know, how I'd put in on a form or something, learning difficulties. And they said, it is learning disabilities. And I'm sat there like, And they were like, which means she's got a learning difficulty in every area. And it was quite stern the way they were speaking to her. I was like, oh, And I was like, okay. And so basically they were saying that they were closing the case on the support on something. I was like, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then, Elena, she was so upset.
Oh, isn't that awful?
Oh. And you know, it's like, it was one of those where it started off really kind of light and bubbly, and I kind of thought, okay, blah, 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 we're just talking. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, the tone's really changed here. And my child's in the back, and I don't know what to do. But it was just like, if you're not prepared for it, you kind of get stunned into like, what do I say? What do I do? So I had to have a conversation with her then, because then she was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I said, Elena, I was like, everyone struggles with something. Like, nobody is perfect. I said, like, Mummy struggles with maths. So I've got dyscalculia, which means, like, I really struggle with maths. It was so funny. I was talking to my mum earlier, and I accidentally said 7:30. She was like, 7:30? I went, no, I mean 5:30, but I'm looking at the time right now.
17, is that it?
It said 17:25, whatever. My mind blocks out the 1, and I end up seeing a 7 and saying
I'm with you.
Yes. So I was like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
I knew what you meant.
You know what I meant. There we go. So I was trying to explain to her, I struggle with maths, and I just ask for help, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just ask for help, because I think that, you know, people can get self-conscious about asking for that help.
Yeah.
And worrying that they're going to get judged because they've asked for help. But what's worse is not asking for help, and then nothing changes.
Yeah, definitely. And I always say to my Destiny, she'll be 11 now this year, and she's gone through a little bit of nonsense in school and stuff. And I always say to her, like, this is nothing on this nothing on this topic, but you know what I mean. But I always say to her, I can't protect you if I don't know. You know, if you don't ask for help, I can't do anything about it, you know? Yeah. And I remember seeing a really good, so I used to work in a homeless hostel, and we had like a lot of motivational quotes. And one of the like posters we had, and it was, I think it was Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. And the quote was Piglet saying to Winnie the Pooh, saying, what's the hardest thing you've ever had to do? And he responds and says, asks for help.
Yeah.
And it's so true, isn't it? Because I think for so long it's been this thing of shame and insecurity and, oh, what will I look like? What will I sound like? Da, 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 da. And actually, but if you don't ask, you don't know. And if you don't ask, you don't get. And if you don't ask, people don't know that you need the help, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's like people's perception of what other people view them of view them when they see them. Like, I supported somebody on the spectrum who really, she wanted to lose weight, she wanted to go to Slimming World, but she didn't want people to look at her. She didn't want to be sat there really. So she used to get her Slimming World book and be like this. And we tried to explain to her, like, by doing that, you're actually drawing attention to yourself.
Yes.
It's one of those social understanding things of, actually, you're creating a visual that people are going to be drawn to.
Yes.
Because if you just sat there and maybe, like, looked at your phone or looked at your book, like reading it, or looked at the floor, you know, people aren't likely to pay attention. No. But by doing that, you're actually, like, creating a focal point. Hello, you know.
Hello.
So again, it's that understanding of people's view, which can be quite difficult.
And again, it's the social cue thing, isn't
it? Social cues, yeah.
It's mad. It's mad how it all interlinks and it all comes back around, isn't it?
And I think that's the hardest thing is you can't talk about communication without talking about the social aspect of it. Because a lot of what we do when it comes to communication is we're being social with other people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because, like I said last week, like, I'm a very bright, bubbly character. And I think I've learned over time, especially with kind of like Elena and Lucas and so, like, I'm very like, hello, like, I've had to really learn that sometimes, like, for certain individuals with autism or learning needs, that's too much. Like, people, I'm pretty good. Like, believe it or not, I can be professional. I used to be a manager. Anyway, but, you know, like, I think I'm pretty good. I can kind of like read situations where it's not appropriate. But even in family situations, you know what I mean? So, like, obviously, you know what I'm like, oh, I love my nieces and nephews, like, you know. But actually, like, over time, I'm like, oh, actually, like, that's too much for them at this stage, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I just can't help but think about our nephew and how, like, when there's family gatherings, you know, really big family gatherings, like, big party, and we've got a big family, haven't we? We've got sisters and brothers and nieces and nephews, and we're blinking great aunts now, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? Like, it just keeps getting bigger, the family. And I remember when he was little and we had a family gathering, and very soon into it he was going, oh, my tummy hurts, I don't feel well, and can I go upstairs? And it was the same thing every time, really. There was something, there was a reason for him not to be involved in the big interactions. And actually, that was probably him having a bit of anxiety. Because 100%. Anxiety can present in having a bad tummy and feeling a bit sick in your tummy. Because some people say, oh, when kids do that, they're just putting it on because they don't want to be in the situation. Well, no, actually, that is how their body is responding to the situation. So it's not faked. It's not happening. It's happening because of the situation. So it's real. Because some people think it's not real. But then when they're out of that situation, of course they feel better because they're not in the situation anymore.
Exactly. And I think too many times now, like, we see people think, like, when people do things like that, we see it as rude. Well, actually, no, that's just their personality. Like, they just need that 5 minutes of that safe space. Yeah. You know, like, Des can be a little bit like that. She can get a little bit anxious and I've got a bad belly and that can happen. And, like, quite recently we were doing something and I was like, right, Des, you want to have your phone for 5 minutes? And she was like, yeah. Just for her to have that 5 minutes.
Like a distraction.
I just need to zone out for 5 minutes. Yeah. And I think we kind of got to be kind to each other to think, actually, it just give them 5 minutes. Like, let them, you know. And one-to-one on their own, they're probably all right. It's just a bit much. People like me, they're just too much. You know, I am learning. I am getting there, I promise.
That's the thing, is being open-minded and open to learning about what works for everyone, and we all have our own unique way of handling situations and being with each other. And I think a lot of us are now learning about, in the past it used to be, oh, go on, give your auntie a kiss and give her... And actually, a lot of the time the kids didn't want to give the kiss, but you don't really think of it as a big thing, because for years it was like, oh, go on, give someone a kiss, give someone a kiss.
Yeah.
But actually, what are we saying if we're making them do that if they don't want to do it?
100%. There's a massive thing about this at the moment, isn't there? About forcing them into something that they don't want to do. And there's a bit of a query as to whether is that abusive behaviour or manipulative behaviour in making your children do something that they don't want to do.
I think it depends on what's behind the reasonings. Like, I think when you've been brought up in a culture of, as a child you've been asked, oh, go on, give your nan a kiss and give your uncle a kiss and give so-and-so a kiss. It just feels natural to do it because we've always done it. Yeah, that's what we've always done. But I think when you also look at it from the aspect of a child with a disability as well,
that's the thing
that adds that other element of, if they struggle with contact, like having hugs and having that closeness, it's going to be even worse if you try and put the pressure on to give someone to a hug or someone to a kiss.
Yes.
So I think it is good that we are starting to look at things in that way. I just think we have to be careful not to be over the top with it as well.
100%.
So getting the balance right, basically.
Yeah, definitely, because I'm very cutchy. I mean, we are as a family, really, aren't we? Like, we're very kissy cutchy. I love you. But I'm like that generally. And I've got a really good friend I used to work with who, she's just not cutchy at all. Like, at all. And I'd like go to give her a hug and she'd be like, no, don't touch me.
It's like the face will just tell you exactly what you need to know.
Hannah, no. And I'm like, oh, but I love you, and I had to really learn. And I remember the one day, and I think she did, but I really had a rubbish day, and I'd taken her some flowers in, and I was like, can I please give you a hug? And she was like, yes. And I was like, yes!
And that was the moment that changed everything for Hannah. That changed her life forever.
She hugged me. Yes. But it took a long time to realise, oh, not everybody's like this. No. Not everybody likes a cheeky kiss and a touch. Like, Yeah.
I mean, and like Lucas and Elaine are very different. So Lucas loves tight hugs. Like, he'd have a good wrestle with you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He loves it and the tickles and everything. Whereas Elaine there, like, she will hug me, but it's very much ding, ding, ding.
She's much of a tapper, isn't she?
It's very much like, they're there. But that's fine, and that works for her, and that's absolutely fine. But
I like a good squeeze.
Lucas likes a good squeeze.
Yeah,
he does.
Squeeze,
He doesn't like it if I go over the top with the kisses, which is very rare. I get my chance to get them, so I can kind of.
I'm not that when I see him. I'm like, and he's like, who's this scary lady?
He's got no qualms about giving you a good punch. Like, do you know what I mean? If you're like in his face enough, he gets the fist ready to say, right, back off. You know what I mean? And he might even give you a little kick as well. And he's quite strong, so.
He's so strong.
He's very strong.
Do you remember? So Carrie is 3. That's my child who can hear in the background, the feral one. And do you remember when she was born and you came down? Can you remember I was doing the Superman?
Oh, I love that.
Hulk. And he was so heavy, and I had him like on my knee. I can't really describe it. But he was like not humongous. I can't say that because he's like stunning.
He's not humongous.
But compared to
he's stocky. He's stocky.
But compared to Carrie,
he's big.
So, and I remember doing the Superman. I was like, whoa! He's obviously I hadn't long given birth, mind. So I mean that would be a contributing factor. But I've been thinking, blinking, like this child is like massive.
And bearing in mind, he's nearly 5, and yes, I have to carry him sometimes for certain things now. And I just think to myself, how am I finding the inner strength to carry this child? He's heavy.
I really don't know how you do it because Harriet is 3. She's 2.5 stone, I think, and I struggle to carry her.
Oh, do you know what? When I get a chance to lift Carrie, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I could literally just go throw her out of the window. Do you know what I mean? Not that I would, but like she's that light. She's that light, and you go la la la. Whereas I'm just looking.
But I mean, we all know that my upper body strength is like terrible.
Mine's not great either. Oh. Well, maybe I've built up a few muscles.
I think you have.
Really?
Like, I am awful. Like, I can't, like, open a jar of jam. Like, Mum had to make me one of them things, the
I think we all have those moments. We all have those jammy
No, like, I
moments.
can't do anything. Like, there's something seriously wrong with me. Mum will tell you, like, I'm just rubbish. I mean, I can run away from my children. No, I took disclosure, I'll never do that.
Which is hilarious.
but I can run. But, lift
But
anything.
you can't hide.
But, no, I can't lift anything. I'm ashamed to go to the gym. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't lift 5k.
This is what we're talking about. Clear communication. Sharing when you need help.
I need help, Rach.
She needs help. And she's...
Help!
This is
I
a
need
safe
somebody,
space.
help! Not just anybody, help!
Need somebody help.
Me! I don't know the words. You're really good at this. Last week you had Pop Idol.
Yeah, literally.
I feel like that could be a theme tune there.
You always talk about
I
themes.
know, I
don't you?
feel like we need something.
All right, I'll think about it.
Maybe we can... Oh, I know. Do you know what these mics remind me of?
What do they remind you of?
Oh,
I don't know why I'm whispering right now.
what was that youth conference we used to go to and we had to do? Do you remember?
Oh my word, I do. Yeah, we did a rap. I know. See, this is the other thing. I know this rap as well.
I mean, I know
Do you
most
remember
of
it?
I think.
You remember it?
Yo, Cleo, listen to this. I got some news that you don't want to miss. They went to the tomb, his body was gone.
Oh no, my friend, you got it all wrong. He dead and buried. Full stop.
This bit I don't know.
But I thought God was gonna take him to the top. Oh no, my friend, open your eyes. What you've been hearing is a whole pack of lies. Where'd you get that from? A Kinder Surprise? Yo, Cleo, who's that guy?
I don't know, but let's say hi.
See, I remember the whole thing. Like, what is wrong with me?
How old was I? Because I was too young to be going, wasn't I?
You were a teeny bopper.
Teeny bubble.
I'd say she was like the early tween. She was
I
the
think
tween.
it was only about...
12, 13.
No, I wasn't that.
No,
I was about 8.
No, you were a tweeny bopper.
Well, how old were you? There's 3 years between us.
Who knows how old I was? Hang on. I don't know. I can't keep up with this. Bad memory, like me. You mean?
You just said you got a good memory.
No. I said for useless information that nobody needs.
Oh yeah, I suppose this would be quite useful.
When it comes to, oh yeah, what year did that happen? What month did it? Oh, the worst is going to blinking appointments and the doctor say, okay, so when did they start crawling? When did they start walking? And most of it I remember, but the odd one, and I'm like, and they're like, it's okay if you can't remember. I'm like, I really can't.
Can I tell you a really bad story?
I really can't.
Let me tell you a really bad story.
Oh, I hope this is worse than what I just said.
Yeah, it definitely
thank
is, right?
God.
So when my lovely, beautiful Destiny was born, she is now 11. Well, she's not quite 11. There's another funny story about that, but I won't tell you that. Anyway, I'll tell you that story now. Anyway, so Destiny was born in October. So she's my firstborn. Yeah. It is what it is. Anyway, so, after you have them born.
After you have them born. Okay.
After they're born. I remember the midwife come into the house and was like, what's her date of birth?
Oh, you didn't.
I said the wrong date.
Oh, bad. Not being funny.
But, quite dramatically bad. So, so she's the...
Let me just clarify. Was it an easy labour or something?
No, I'm not going to say that it was traumatic, because for those who have really gone through traumatic births would be like...
Just trust me. For me, Elena's birth, definitely traumatic.
Oh, yeah, no. I had a piece
I mean, Lucas's was planned. It wasn't too bad. But because it was like a planned date that I had to go in, I remember their birthday. No worries.
Oh, yeah. No, I had an episiotomy, but Anyway, so it was quite dramatically bad. So Destiny's birthday, send your cards to not my address. I'm not giving you my address.
No.
Anyway, she's the 19th of October. I said she was the 13th.
Okay. That's not too bad. Only a couple of days out. Do you mean?
I don't know. I think that's quite bad.
Can you imagine if you'd said the 30th or something like that? That would have been atrocious.
I mean, it's not like her due date was the 6th. She kept me waiting. Do you know what I mean? I think I felt so ashamed.
We just said about being kind to ourselves. Be kind to yourself.
Well, it's too late now. I mean, that was 10 years ago. But yeah. Anyway, so funny. Destiny keeps telling people that she's already 11, and my friend...
Why is she doing that?
I don't know, it's really funny. It's my friend, she recently met my friend, and they said to her, oh, you're 11, aren't you, Destiny? And she was like, yeah. And later on in the conversation, we were in the car, and I said, oh, Des, come on now, you're only 10. And my friend was like, she's only 10. And he went, Destiny, I've been calling you 11 for the past, like, hour. And you didn't correct me.
She's not far off.
Yeah. October 19th.
I know it's February, but it's this year. That's what we've got to look at. It is this year she turns 11, so we'll give her that.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm 32 this year.
Oh, fine.
How old are you?
Don't ask. You should be able to guess this.
Yeah, 35.
I'll be 35 in April, yeah.
Isn't your hubby 40 this year?
I don't know what to do. I don't.
I have a few ideas.
Yeah.
Not repeatable.
Behave now. So basically, for his 30th, I went all out and I did like this whole murder mystery theme. So I wrote a script and everything like
it was
that.
amazing.
It was hilarious.
I thought it was amazing. I was rubbish at it. Can you remember?
I think I was the only one who bothered to learn the script. No, so we're all dressed in like Gatsby kind of kind of era.
It was good.
And one of my friends took Gordon out for a drink or two. It was meant to distract him for us to get things ready and for him to arrive. Yeah, they were at the pub too long.
Did he have a few too many?
Yeah, he was just a mess. Like, so there's me putting like a one of those old fashioned hats on him. Do you know what I mean, like a Gatsby hat? And I'm like, come on in, and he's like, what is going on? And so we're talking, and obviously we're talking like all old,
we're darling,
kind of
almost like Downton Abbey.
Yes, talking in that kind of way. And he's like, oh, well, there are no spaceships around. And I was like, oh, for goodness sake, stick to the thing. But he was just not in the right frame of mind to do so. But he loved it, and it was good. But he's 40 this year. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, anything happened in particular the year he was born that we could like reenact?
Hashtag, that's creepy. Like, I do not want to reenact him, like, being born. I mean, I don't know what she's trying to say. Oh, the year he was born, like she just threw me. Like, I'm like, are you serious? Like, this is what I was picturing. This is what me in my mind is. Okay, I was picturing, like, people all in hospital gowns and, like, a hospital bed. And I'm thinking, is she talking about, like, look at Super Grey's Anatomy. I'm just like, what on earth are you on? What have you had today? Oh, my gosh. But no, so basically, I need to research what happened in that year.
Yes.
That was a pinnacle moment.
Let's hope it's not like Pearl Harbor or something. Like, can't be
Oh gosh, she's not that old.
No, I know that. That was meant to be a joke and clearly wasn't funny.
It wasn't. It made no sense. It made no sense.
Yet you thought it was.
Oh my gosh, we need to stop. We need to stop laughing, right? And in other news, I don't know why I'm acting like a newscaster now. In other news. Okay, let's take this moment to showcase our t-shirts. So this is the Heart of Home logo on our brand new merch t-shirts.
Oh, I've got a mug in the cupboard.
Oh, you show off your mug as well. Cool.
Oh, it's so funny.
Hopefully you'll calm down in between now and getting the mug. Yeah? Come on! Oh, she's hilarious.
Oh, that's really big laugh. Oh, right.
Okay. So I'm going to take this moment to say, if you're watching via YouTube, I don't know why I'm doing a YouTube dance. So this is our Heart of Home Thomas mug. Very nice. They're very, very snazzy. So yes, if you are watching via YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I probably should have said that at the start. Yeah, and there's a smaller one. Now these are quite nice for like cute little hot chocolates for the kids.
Oh, that's a genius idea.
Yeah. I gave it to somebody and they gave it to their daughter and they were like putting like their little snacks in there, like grapes and things like that and little fruits. Again, another good idea.
Mind blown.
Mind blown.
That's genius.
Yeah, so these are our new t-shirts.
Da, 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 da.
So I'm going to get Becky to stand up and
do
a little haha. Twirly twirls. Right, so on the back of the t-shirts we have, sorry, let me move your hair. Right. We have the QR code. So if you were to scan said QR code, no, stop moving.
Oh no, I was thinking, I wonder if they could do it through the phone, but they're probably watching on their
Maybe
phone,
stand up
wouldn't
a little bit straighter. That's it, perfect. Okay, so take this moment now to scan the QR code. We'll see if it works. And that will take you to my website where you can sign up so that you get all of the news and you'll be notified as soon as the app is ready to download. Okay, you can turn around.
Oh, thank the Lord.
Excellent.
Oh, I can't grab the chair.
Right. So, I was mentioning while you were flitting around getting merch that if they haven't already, they can subscribe to the YouTube channel so they can get our funniest and best videos.
Oh, Lord.
Fabulous. So, is there anything else you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
That was so funny.
Gandalf.
Can I just apologise for my random outbursts? Sometimes, right? You know, when something just makes... See, it's happening now. You know, when something really makes me laugh, I can't control it. And I start crying. I get really quite emotional.
Okay, shall we sign goodbye and good night?
Rachel's just like, oh.
So, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And good night. Okay, that was really long and loud. Okay, so thank you guys, and we hope you're enjoying. Stay tuned.
See you. Bye.